What's up, everybody? It's Atlas, the Audi technician here. So today's going to be a pretty short video. This is going to be a video for your fuel door actuator. So some of you guys may have had symptoms where you're trying to open your gas tank here and then it won't open. As you can see, mine's stuck. So we're going to talk about how to replace that one here today. So I'm gonna just get right into it. First thing you're gonna do, actually before I even get into it, you can do this with a jack. You do not need a lift. I'm just using a lift because it's easier on me and my body, but you can use this with a jack and you'll get the same result. So with that being said, first thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and remove your passenger side rear wheel. All right, and then once you get that done, you want to come back here, make sure you actually have access to your to this little panel back here, and you'll see this little red tab. This red tab is going to be important because if yours is stuck like mine, you're going to need to tug on this and it should open it like that. All right, so now from here, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to, there's a little tab in here, or a little slot. You can see it right there, hopefully. This rectangle right here, you're gonna want to put a flat head in between here, and essentially what you're doing is there's a release tab in here like this. It looks like in there like this, and once you push that in, you're gonna pull the painted part back. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Just like that. All right, so now at this point, once you got that off, it should look something like this. So at this point, you're gonna see these four little tabs right here, right? So there's one here, there's one here, there's one up here, and there's one up here. So this part's gonna be kind of rough and it's gonna feel like you're breaking it because you pretty much are breaking it. But essentially what you gotta do is you're gonna have to go in here and you're gonna have to make a hole yourself, either by hand or using a hammer of some sort, basically just to penetrate the plastic. All right, so decided to switch to a pick just because it's a little easier to get up in there. So what you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna kinda wanna pry like outwards like this. You can see how it's coming out like that. So you wanna do this to all four of the corners. And you're gonna have to like walk it out too. So and like I said, it's gonna feel like you're breaking it because you pretty much are. The part that we're replacing is not reusable, so you're gonna have to break it. So there is a T20 right here. Do not forget to take that off. This needs to come off first before, so you can still poke your holes that you need to poke, but before you start pulling on anything, make sure you take this T20 out. All right, so now that you got that the fuel door itself out of the way, you have this little piece right here. So this can essentially just slide it out of here like so, and then you can disconnect it by pinching these two little plastic pieces here, and then this whole thing comes out. All right, so now that you've gotten your actuator and the door itself off, you're gonna go ahead and pull out the new unit, which is gonna look like this. Now this red string here is gonna have a lot of memory to it, meaning it's probably gonna be really curly when you first get it. So what I like to do, I like to take me a little piece of tape right here, and then after that, go ahead and get my tool, or rather my part, I should say. Get the part, okay, and then go ahead and just wrap this around like so, and then of course you can just literally feed it straight through. All right, so I'm gonna put the camera on the other side so you can see what I'm seeing. All right, so now back here you can see that yellow piece of tape. That is your emergency, that's the emergency tab. So once we get everything set up, I personally am gonna go ahead and put it right here where this hole is. All right, so you can go ahead and set that up. All right, so now that we're back over here, you want to go ahead and make sure, now I already connected mine, but you want to make sure that you do not forget to reconnect your connector right here. Make sure that's plugged in. Now when you're putting the new actuator back in, you want to make sure that these two wings right here actually go above the painted part, and you want to make sure that this lower part is under the painted part, so that way it should kind of almost sandwich itself in place, essentially like that. You're going to want to make sure that that's in place because there is a screw hole that you're going to have to line up. That T20 that you had to take out, you're going to want to make sure that that's there. All right, so next up we're going to get the fuel door itself. So coming through here, got the new fuel door, so you can see. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this side of the fuel door and you're going to want to angle it in like so. You're going to want to fish it in there like that, open the door, and then you're going to want to line all of this up. Now at this point everything should be lined up, so you can just go ahead and push it down in there like it's supposed to go. Okay. Sometimes they click, sometimes they don't. I guess mine didn't want to click, but that's okay. So once that's in there, and then this screw hole should be lined up, should be able to go ahead and get that T20 in there. Now then from here, unfortunately I don't have a sticker. You know, normally there's a sticker over here that tells you, you know, 93 or 91 minimum only. Unfortunately I do not have mine, but at this point you can go ahead and start putting the painted part of the door back on. So again, when you're putting this back on, you're gonna want to line it up. So there's these tabs right here, and then there's tabs on this lower section right here. All right, and then once you line these tabs up, you're gonna want to, it should kind of feel like it falls in place a little bit once you line it up, and then after this point you just slide it down like that, and then it goes back in place. Now from here, that's pretty much it. If you have a sticker, you can go ahead and place it right there if you got it. If you don't got it, then you know it is what it is. You know these cars require 93 anyway, so. All right, so with that being said, that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. Pretty short video, something simple. There are some cars, I did tell you in the beginning of the video that you need to take the passenger rear wheel off. There are some cars that actually do require you to do that. I completely forgot that mine was not one of them. This is the wheel needs to come off if you have a B9, A4 S4, A5 S5. Same thing on those cars, but on the B8s, at least on the S4s, you don't have to do that. All right, so with that being said, hey, this has been another episode another video, another DIY by Atlas, the Audi technician. Hey, so you guys take care of yourselves. You have a good rest of your day.